Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I am fine. Finally back from the trip. Oh, good trip to Italy. Well, you saw Saturday and Sunday. Um, so it was a good trip. It was a little bit positives and negatives. Let's take a look at gold. We'll get into it. So gold's 26.73 ahead of the October 22nd BRICS gold backed currency. Silver 31.67. Even though it's undervalued, it's still doesn't mean it's going to go up. That's what I talked to Luke about with his gold and silver stocks. Just because they're undervalued doesn't mean they're going to go up. Don't know what the hell that is. So anyway, that's what they're at next week. They should be going up. Well, they're going up now. What is wrong with my phone? So I had a good week in football. Sunday had four locks, had three winners. We hit a lot of the overplays: Arizona, Green Bay over, Baltimore, Washington over, and Arizona and Atlanta and Carolina over. Hey Pat, the only problem was the New Orleans, and it was all turnovers. We had the game played right with Spencer Rattler. Where the fuck are they going with this guy coming in? But nothing there. There was a couple of I think it was a punt return and a couple of fumbles and an interception or two, which led to points, and that kills you because why they're throwing the ball 50 times with that guy and Drake May, I have no idea. Hey, Alex. Um, so yeah, so on the trip there was good things and bad. It was you're off on the coast, the Amalfi Coast, and it's very narrow roads. There's nothing there to find a grocery store. How do you get there? And it's not like it's a normal cab, let's say in Barcelona, where you get in and it's the grocery store is a mile away and it's a $5 cab ride or whatever. The cabs are expensive. There's not a lot of hard to find them. I think people rent scooters. There's a lot of scooter people. We didn't do that. And the hotel, there was lots of steps everywhere. If you wanted to go to the beach, you'd go down this long cliff all the way down the hill. I think I got a picture. And then to go back, you had to go all the way up the hill, and my legs were just killing me. Let me show some pictures. So here's us at the beach. You can see the height of this cliff. No wonder the Roman Empire was so strong, because you could have your army on top of the cliff, and I'm sure you had boats, and nobody could get on top of the cliff. You'd kill them. But you can see it. So if you're walking up the cliff, there should be another one. So here's a better look. This is we're on the beach. So this is, you can see the cliff goes all the way around. Well, all right. So you're at the top of the cliff. You go down to get onto the beach, but you got to go back up that road. And let me see if I have a better. I mean, just look at his. This is just you got to climb that basically. I mean, there's stairs, but it's rough. Let's see if I have us. You have a lot of neat moon pictures, right? So at night, um, it, this is our. I think we're walking back from the restaurant, and you get the moon really lights the sea, and there's some little boats parked out there. This I think's from our. It's either a restaurant or our room. So you can see the rail there. So you're walking back up this rail all the way up. It's just my knees were just torture. Um, there's Miss Jenna. We're eating. She got the risotto. I thought only Gordon Ramsay does that. Here you can kind of see the path, right? So you can walk up the path. So it's, but then the steps were fucking me up because the steps were so narrow and yet so steep. I couldn't, it was hard for me to walk on the steps because I'm used to a longer stride, a bigger step, and not so hemmed in. So it really was difficult. All the steps in the hotel had steps. This is Positano, which is where initially we wanted to go, but we couldn't. I don't know. I'm getting this glare, but we couldn't. We couldn't find a hotel that was affordable. Here's another look at Positano. We had dinner there. Pretty place and better sand. This sand is the beach is sand. Our beach was all rocks. Jenna at Positano. So you can see the hills and everything. We water taxied there, which was good. Here's us on our taxi. We're on a water taxi. It was just like a rubber boat, but it was good because it was like $35. It was like $75, but both ways. And you couldn't get a cab for $35. Your cab would be like $40 one way, 40 if you can find the cab to do it. It wasn't like going to Barcelona or Berlin where you are in the hotel lobby and hey, get me a cab, and they get you a cab. I had no idea, and a lot of the people at the hotel did not speak English. They were Italian, which is unusual because who the fuck's gonna? How many Italians are gonna go there? Pat, the Silver Shorts are fighting hard. Glad you had a great vacation. Beautiful Colette. Thank you, Pat. Hey, Todd. How was the trip? I'm just going over it now. It was good. Lost my 18 teaser using free pick LSU over. That would have been by 1 point. Yeah. The hook beat me 55 and a half. Total was 55. Week 8 is going to be interesting. Yeah, that LSU game, the more I thought about it, I thought LSU was going to win, and I wrote that to Alex. I did think it would go over because LSU's got a good – I knew LSU would score on them, and then And this is where we get tricked is Mississippi. Now, had you bought the locks, Todd, you would have won easy because I was 3-1 in my pro locks, and I think I was 3-1 in college. I know I locked Boise, and I locked the Army. I love that one. And I lost on I don't know who I lost on. I didn't lock LSU, Old Miss. I locked Tennessee -8. See, so we know Mississippi and Tennessee are bullshit teams. Anyway, jumping around. So let's finish up with the vacation. So it's a nice place. It's a small city. Even my cab last night had a 6:40 flight this morning. I got up at 2:00 this morning, Europe time, which is like 8:00 at night our time or Eastern time. And I'm sweating because, if I'm in Barcelona, I go to the front desk. I said, give me a cab. He gets me a cab at 2 or 3, or you can Uber. You couldn't Uber here. And so there's nobody. The hotel closes at 11. I've never seen a hotel close at 11. They're basically closed. So I've got, if the guy doesn't come, I'm fucked, basically. But fortunately, I highly recommend if you use bookings at all, bookings.com at all, even if you don't use it, use the driver. If you're in the situation I was in where I needed a driver, he picked me up at the airport, like 6:30, my flight got in the morning. And he got there early because he read the flight and he said, oh, the flight's early. And he got there. And then this 3:00 in the morning crap, he was there. He texted me, I'm on my way. Then he texted me, I'm here. Very reliable and very inexpensive. This should have been a €200 taxi, and we did it for 128 each way. So 256 instead of 800 in cabs. It was 550 or so. But anyway, so it was a nice. I mean, you have the Mediterranean. You can see what it looks like, right? I mean, let's see. I mean, basically, this is your view everywhere. You got the mountains and you got the Mediterranean everywhere. That's your view. So, from that standpoint, I mean, this is the whole coast. So you get that, but the hotels, at least the ones that we were at, it didn't have. It wasn't like an elevator. It was like thrown out more like a motel where we would walk to our room. Problem is, you had to walk up these steps and down, and it was my back sore. I just couldn't do it. It was just, I work out in the pools a lot. I'm in the water. I weigh 10 pounds. This was just carrying yourself up like half a mile. If you want to be in good shape, go there for a month and go down to the beach and walk up twice a day. And you don't need any other workout. Incredible. But anyway, so it was nice. It was sunny. There was times we're on the beach and it's sunny, and behind us, the big mountains it was cloudy and raining. A lot of rocks on our beach. Oh, it hurt so bad. I had to wear my shoes otherwise I couldn't walk on the rocks. They were so hard, and it was killing me. Water was nice. You could swim in the water. Again, you take the water taxis. Was good, but it was a 90-minute drive from the airport to this Amalfi coast. So it's a nice place. I'm not sure you can't go to Barcelona or go somewhere else and get the Mediterranean that way. We'll see. How was the food? I got a bone to pick with Luke. He gives us a restaurant in Positano, and it was not very good. We were a little I said my student recommended it, and Jenna just kind of said, I didn't like it. It was okay. The steaks were kind of not normal steaks. The food was okay, but it was expensive. So on one hand, it was all right. The fish was nothing to write home about. The meat was, it was okay, but she got risotto, which is just rice with something. So she went, she would order that. I'd try to get chicken. I tried to stay away from meat because of my gout. I'd get some fish, some chicken. The food was okay, but I found it to be expensive. I mean, every meal was $65, $70 for just lunch. And, you know, we had the free breakfast buffet, which was basically a lot of eggs and bacon, some tea, some water, some fruit, and that was it. A lot of bread. Oh, it's Carb City there. But I go to the restaurants, you're going to get most of the meals are $25, 20, 25. And they charge you to sit at the table. They charge you, so it's $6 just to start by you two sitting at the table. It's like a table charge. And then they give you the water bottle. That's another €4 or €5. If you get a drink, another €7 or €8. Jenna's in room. That's good. Um, so here's an idea of the walking up and down from the beach. So there's Jenna, and you're on this path, and when you get to the steps, you're holding that handrail because the steps are so steep. Let me see if I can get a step picture. No, I don't see it. Anyway, good trip, and we were there a week. Um, like I said, the food was okay, but it was it's a $60 meal, and if you have a lunch and a dinner, it got expensive, and then throw on a taxi for that, so it was pretty expensive. Um, so anyway, I mean, it's a little bit of money, but really I saved a lot on my flight. Was only, I think it was $750 instead of 1,500. But the hotels are expensive there. There was some 20, 30,000 for like a villa for the week. We got a hotel, but on that coast, it's not like staying at a Hilton or anything, where you got the lobby and you got the pool, and there's a reservation 24 hours. This is just totally, I mean, they closed at 11 o'clock. There's a few mini marts, but very, very difficult. So, it was a different type of trip. It's like going up north. If you ever, like in Michigan, there's Lake Michigan, which is up north, and it's not like going to Vegas where you can stay at Caesars and a nice pool and a nice slop. So it's a little bit like going up north, and you're really going for the water is what you're going for. But I would recommend like 3 or 4 days there. I mean, okay, we went to the beach. Okay, Positano was real nice. Okay, check. Now let's go to somewhere else. Go to Venice or Naples or Rome or something, or go to Greece. Some guy comes up to me at the airport. Says, should I go to Greece 3 days? And you know, and I says, but I didn't know him. I said, buddy, if that's what you want, it's certainly a good opportunity. I mean, it's probably a cheap flight to go to Greece from Italy. Anyway, so it was definitely well worth it. All right. So anyway, that's what it was. So it was a nice trip. Um, all right. So let's talk football. So last week, well, we had class. I did it Saturday at 10 o'clock, which was 4 o'clock in the morning. It was after breakfast and before we went to the beach. Because once we go to the beach, that's it. So the locks I had last week were, well, no, I was going to lock UNLV and I didn't, and it won. Then I had Army, which was a winner. I had Tennessee, which was a loser, and Boise, which was a winner. So Boise came through again with that running back. Some of the losers were Alabama off of a loss. Now you're like, well, is Alabama any good? They just lost again. They barely beat South Carolina, and they got Tennessee this week. So all of a sudden we see DeBoer's offense, but no defense. Missouri, that blows my mind. I didn't lock Missouri, and I didn't lock Vanderbilt. I couldn't believe Vanderbilt was a 14-point dog after beating Alabama. And I teased it plus 20, but I don't know how I didn't lock it plus 20. I think the line was so confusing. Like, what Kentucky doesn't score, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. What point of this equation doesn't make sense? Army blows out UAB. Missouri, how I didn't lock Missouri after a loss playing fucking UMass with their 31-point defense, and they win 45-3. It was actually a low spread, 27 down to 21. So Tennessee, off of a loss, barely beats Florida. And Georgia doesn't look like Georgia, 41-31. BYU looks really good. Cam Rising out for the season. Hurt his leg. Early in the game, he throws 3 interceptions. Now we know why, because he was injured. And I'll fix my glasses. So he's gone. So now there's no more hunting with that. Cincinnati was a good win. Penn State, USC, I don't know how they lost the game. Northern Illinois, I have as a dog, wins. Texas under wins. Ohio State over wins. I had a really good day, except for I had the Kansas State, Colorado over. Really, it was just the Tennessee and Alabama games that were the problems. Everything else was dynamite. Oh, yeah, and the Syracuse over with NC State. I lost that one. I didn't understand how they didn't. They put up 50 points on Vegas, and they only scored that on NC State. All right, so this week, I've already played L-Tech -5 yesterday. It lost. And today's what? Wednesday, I think. I gotta check my days. Yeah, today's Wednesday. So Western Kentucky plays Sam Houston and Florida International plays UTEP. I did take Florida International even against the Z team in UTEP. I had played it with L-Tech -5. I can't believe L-Tech lost to New Mexico State, the Z teams. The other Z team, Tennessee State and Middle Tennessee State, were both Z teams. I think Middle Tennessee State won by 10 or so. New Mexico State beats L-Tech. South Alabama beats Troy. All right, let's go through the lines. All right, real quick. Western Kentucky and Sam Houston. Where's my brightness? Oh, anyway, so we got Sam Houston, 1.5, 55.5 to Western Kentucky. This was 3, down to 1.5. The Florida International 747 was 6, so it went up to 7, and then 47 the total. UTEP's the Z team, Florida International is the over team. I love if this should go over. Marshall 951.5 to Georgia Southern. Excuse me. That line really hasn't moved. Should be a good game. That's a pretty even game. BC, Virginia Tech 7 and 48.5 from 49. That should be a pretty even game. Also, Duke 3, 42.5 to Florida State. Is Buglia playing, or the other guy? They both suck. Oregon, Purdue. This is an interesting game here. Oregon 27.5, 61, up from 58. I don't know why this is being bet over. Oregon, great game with Ohio State. I did call that game over. I was scared to take the dog. It was a tease the dog A play, but I didn't dog it. But it shows you how good Dylan Gabriel is, and Oregon at home, they're going to play. The game was at Ohio State, still would have been close. I think it goes to Ryan Day not being a very good big game coach. He's lost 3 in a row to Michigan, lost in the playoffs to Georgia, and then here he loses a game he should have won against Oregon. Ohio State was the better team there, but they didn't show. So interesting, and Purdue kind of sucks, but they switched quarterbacks. BYU 9.5, 53 to Oak State. This was 55. BYU, much the better team there. They're the A team. We'll go through the team rankings as soon as we're done with this. Fresno State 2.5, 50.5 to Nevada. Nevada's been playing a lot better ball lately. And Fresno State, Mikey Keynes had a hard time. The game's in Nevada. The Army, 15.5 and 51.5. Go Army, beat Navy, of course. That's going to be a really good game. Actually, it'll probably be an over game. They've been throwing the ball a little bit more. Army very dominant. East Car's an E team. Very strong game. Indiana 6.5, 50.5 to to Nebraska. So Nebraska started off a pretty good team. Indiana's just dominant. They're the best team in the Big Ten, who nobody knows they are. Um, this should be a very close game. I don't know if it's going to be one of these really low scoring games. An 11 defense, Nebraska 15 for Indiana. But I'm finding when they're both A teams like Ohio State and Oregon or Alabama and Georgia, they've been going over. The Dogs been to play, but they've been going over. Rutgers 4.5, 41, down from 6.5. I got to check injuries here. I don't know why this line's moving down. UCLA's terrible this year. Lou Lafayette 4.5, 56.5 to Coastal Carolina. Lou Lafayette's a little bit better. Coastal Carolina with the 31 defense. Cincinnati, I like Cincinnati this year, up to 6.5. Wow, I had them at 7. They were 3, and now they're 6.5, 49, down from 53. A lot of movement on this game. Cincinnati's been playing really well. Arizona State's been good. Cincinnati's an A team. Arizona State's a B team this year. I was thinking about this. I don't even look at team name anymore. It's really, are they an A team, B team, W or Z? I don't care about the title anymore. I don't care if it's Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, Iowa, Indiana. It's A team playing A team. And that's really the thesis, because you don't want to get emotional. You don't want to say, well, I'm going to take Green Bay or I'm going to take the Steelers. You're just saying, well, I like these 2 under teams they're playing. I'm betting it under. These 2 over teams. I mean, that's what I've been doing the last 2 weeks in the pros. I've been betting the Baltimore game with Cincinnati over. It was an easy win. Last week against Washington, it was an easy over. So it's almost like over team, we'll go over with it. And, not get caught up into the name. That's what the problem is. People go, oh, it's Green Bay or it's Pittsburgh. I'm going to bet the Steelers. I'm betting Alabama. How many times do we say that? I'm betting Michigan, Ohio State. You're betting the team, but you should be betting the A or the Z team. All right. So here Cincinnati is the A team and Arizona State the B team. Clemson 21, 57.5 to Virginia. That line hasn't moved. Clemson's been really strong offensively since that Georgia loss, and then the only game they kind of didn't was Florida State. Got up for that game. Virginia's been playing much better. They're a pretty decent team. They'll give them a little bit of a game. Connecticut's actually favored over somebody. 2.58 to Wake Forest. Connecticut's this is exactly what I'm talking about. They're a B team. They're not Connecticut Z team. They're B team. And that's what the difference is. So they've been scoring a lot. They're more high scoring, 22 defense. It's a whole different ballgame. Missouri, now they've been playing like shit. Although they beat Vanderbilt, I'm going to give them credit for that. They're 4.5, 51 to Auburn. We've got Auburn struggles offensively with the quarterback. Old Missouri, very good team, had been playing poorly. Okay, they blew out UMass, which you would have expected. So we will see, but I like, I think I'd like to start betting Missouri again, but I'm a little scared. They're not as good without that running back. Miami 4.5, 61.5 to Louisville. This should be a very good game. Wisconsin 7.41 to Northwestern. Wisconsin changed quarterbacks. Well, I mean, Van Dyke got hurt. They scored a lot the last couple games against shit teams, so we'll see. Oklahoma 1.5, 41 to South Carolina. This was a 3, 1.5, 41. I wouldn't be shocked if South Carolina won. They just played Alabama tough. They played LSU tough. All of a sudden, LSU's a good team. They beat Old Miss. All these teams are coming around. You don't think LSU's that good? They beat Old Miss. Old Miss, you think so good against these weak teams. Now they lost to Kentucky and they lost to LSU. They're gone. Tennessee, you thought was really strong, and they just lost to. Did they beat Florida? I think they beat Florida in overtime, but they're not. See, the problem is they beat North Texas State. I shouldn't even say that. They beat New Mexico State or UTEP. They put up a 60 points. You think they're a 60-point offense. This is the problem. Then last week, Tennessee at home against Florida. We think Florida's bad because of the Miami game. We think Tennessee's good because of the NC State game. But that's not the teams we're getting. We're getting a very good Florida team. And we're getting a not so strong Tennessee game. The freshman, they figured him out, and now he's not effective. They've never had a big defense. So that's what you're seeing is Old Miss, Tennessee, or the typical Old Miss, Tennessee. They don't have defenses. The surprise is Alabama is now an over team. Alex emailed me and he said, well, somebody's an over team. I said, so is Alabama and Georgia. All of a sudden, where's their defense? This is why I rank it. So we'll go through the 8 teams, and it's not going to have Alabama on it. It'll have Oregon and Ohio State, but it's not going to have Alabama on it. I'm not even sure Oregon is an 8 team. I think they're an over team. Let's see, they play Purdue. I got them as an 8 team. Yeah, they got a 19 defense. All right, so Oklahoma, wouldn't be surprised if South Carolina wins, and it's not even an upset. Oklahoma with no offense. I was so proud of myself. I called that game under last week, under 50-something. Then it was 37-3 Texas. They just pounded them. But Oklahoma has no offense. It's always the quarterback. When a good team like Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Michigan has a bad year, it's because they don't have a quarterback. How do they not have a quarterback? It's beyond me. All right. Eastern, 3.5, 55 to Central. Up from 2. Should be an over game here. Both are over teams. Temple's actually favored. 2.5, 53 to Tulsa. How bad's Tulsa, right? Temple favored. Temple's the Z team. Tulsa I got as a W team, both with shit defenses. I'm not sure how Temple can be favored there. Northern Illinois, 343 to Toledo. Now, I'm curious. Northern Illinois, we had them both times as a dog, and they win last week in the Notre Dame game. But we've had them favored against Buffalo and a few others, and they lost. Maybe they're just a good dog. I don't know. USF 13.5, 57.5 to UAB. South Florida against UAB. UAB is pretty bad, but South Florida is pretty bad this year. They're both W teams. UTSA, Florida Atlantic. UTSA is 4.5, 53.5. Up from 3.5. UTSA is a weak favorite. Let's put it that way. Michigan, Illinois. Michigan's up to 3.5. Was 1.5. 43.5. Boy, I don't know how Michigan's a favorite here. Illinois went to Nebraska and won. All right, they played a 50-49 game with Purdue. I don't know what that was about. They did get killed by Penn State. They had the ball at the goal line, and they fucked up with a high snap, which led to like 3rd and long, and then they missed the field goal, and the game was over. But They're at home here, and Michigan is a very weak favorite. Anytime an under or W's favorite, it's a weak favorite. Navy 1755 to Charlotte. Charlotte's the W. Navy is very strong this year. Miami of Ohio 3.5, 44.5 to Ohio. Both are under teams here. Texas State 10, 61.5. They're the power over team. Against Old D. Old D's played pretty well. Texas State's going to light it up. So the question is, can Old D stay with them or not? Notre Dame 11.5, 49 to Georgia Tech. I don't understand this line. Georgia Tech, we know, is a very good team. Notre Dame, it's an A team, but they're kind of a weak A team. I think Georgia Tech gives them all they want. I sense this is like the Vanderbilt Kentucky game last week. Very good defensive team, 14-point dog against a team that just beat Alabama, and Vanderbilt wins that game. And here you got Georgia Tech, a very good team, getting 11.5 at home to Notre Dame. This looks like the exact same line, exact same game as last week. Here you go, Alabama 356 against Tennessee. Over Team Alabama, 21 defense, 440 offense. Tennessee, an A team, actually a 10 defense, 430 yards on the ground. Now, they're not going to stop Alabama. They don't have a 10 defense. They gave up, 20 to Florida. So I look for Alabama to put up their 30s. And the question is, Tennessee, are they for real or not? But Alabama's defense has gone away. The problem is Tennessee's quarterback's a freshman, and to go up against Alabama as a freshman, I don't know. But I do see it as this should be a good game. Can Tennessee? Is it an upset if Tennessee wins? It's Alabama. Total is 56 in this game. Does that make us want to play it? I think it's kind of a low total because we know Alabama scores 40 points again. What was the score last week against South Carolina? 27-25. They played a 52 there. They gave up 25 points to South Carolina. So that means Tennessee, they'll be in the 30s easy. So could be a total way. Tulane 22.5, 53 to Rice. Tulane's been playing very good ball. Rice is not very good this year. Oh, sorry, guys. Besides getting up at 2 a.m., which is like 8 p.m. last night, it was a 9-hour flight. Lufthansa, excellent, highly recommended. Western Michigan 147.5 to Buffalo. Buffalo has been the favorite here, so now Western's the favorite. Western is the over team, Buffalo the under team. Houston, Kansas, very good matchup. Kansas 5.5, 47.5, down from 7, 46.5. So Kansas is not as good as they've been. The quarterback's getting better. He's no Jason Bean. The defense 26. Houston's been playing good defense. Switched quarterbacks. They're a little bit better. They've got the great coach. Like I said, look for Houston. I think Houston's a live dog here. um, with their defense. Kent and Bowling Green 20.5, 55.5 to Kent. Kent is the Z team. Bowling Green, an E team. Look at Kent's defense because up 49 a game. Holy Christ. Washington State 1955.5 to Hawaii. Hawaii's not been scoring, which is funny because that's their repertoire is they can pass and score and they can't play defense. This year they got a 20 defense and they can't score. Washington State's been a pretty explosive team with the 30 defense. However, they did beat Washington. Cal 10.5, 46.5 to NC State. Oh yeah, this is a Atlantic Coast Conference game. We get to play this at Cal. I don't know what NC State is. They got blown out so many times. Yeah, this will be an interesting one. Baylor, Texas Tech, 6.5, 55.5 to Baylor. Baylor switched quarterbacks. I think it's Robertson. He's done better. Texas Tech's got Morin, and they got a really good running back. Texas Tech's been an over team. They do have the 32 defense. Baylor 24. The problem with the betting on a 32 defense to win, you get points, but then you give up points, and it ends up where you're like, wait a minute, I can't stop the other team. And this is what we want to avoid, betting that team. So we'll have to see. But Baylor should be able to score. USC 7.5, 56.5 at Maryland. Again, let's go to the East Coast. This has got to be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. 7.5, 56.5. USA I got as a B team, Maryland and E. Both 425 yards of offense. Incredible. USC with a 21 defense. So it got a little bit better with the UCLA defensive coordinator, but not much. Maryland at 24. Maryland's never been a good defensive team. I don't know. Do I trust USC lost to Minnesota at Minnesota? Do I trust them? And losing to Michigan, it was really an under team. So USC, Lincoln Riley does not look like a very good coach right now. No defense. He can't call a good offense. I don't like his quarterback. Bad decisions. See, he's been good with the fast quarterback like the Kyler Murray, who basically everybody would run, and Hurts would throw 3 completions a game and run for 150 yards because the receivers would move the guys out, and then Hurts would run up the middle. But with this Miller Moss, he's not a runner. And that's the problem with Lincoln Riley's gadget offense. James Madison, 9.5, 58 to Georgia Southern. And James Madison's an A team, and Georgia Southern is the over team here. Colorado, Arizona, good game. Arizona, 358. This was 55.5. This is jump to 58. I think this is a game Coach Prime can win, and 58. Fafita has been throwing a lot. They're not running it, and their defense isn't what it used to be last year. They got a 27 defense. Last year was like 19. Again, we're not looking at the uniform, we're looking at the grade. It's a B team against an E team, and the E team's favored. Enough said. New Mexico, 278 to Utah State. Look at this. I love the over in this game, but 78. Oh my God. New Mexico has just been lighting it up. Both have 43 defenses, but both have been lighting up the offenses. Utah State played what was it, Boise a couple weeks ago, whatever, and they put up like 30, 40 points, and New Mexico is the same. So they've been scoring. Neither team has a defense, but 78. I really got to think about that. I don't like going that high in my picks. San Jose State 11 and 51.5 to Wyoming. Um, 1151. Wyoming is a Z team and only 250 yards of offense. You can be a Z team and score and have more offense than that. It just means you don't score much. A&M 15-56 to Old Mississippi State. Old Mississippi State, I don't know. They put up a big number last week. A 33 defense, A&M with the good defense. A&M should win. It's by how many? LSU, Arkansas, Bobby game. LSU 2.5, 55.5. And I just think LSU, though, they're the over team here. I'd like them as a dog. Arkansas is actually an A team. Arkansas is probably a good home dog here, and they both have 450 yards on the ground. Arkansas State 6.5, 55.5 to Southern Miss. Both are Z teams, both with 33 defenses, and neither team has an offense. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to play something like this. Vanderbilt 25.5, 58.5 to Ball State. See, here's where now we realize Ball State shouldn't be a 14-point dog. Here's where Vegas is 2 or 3 weeks too late. You should have seen them against Missouri and go, that's a pretty good team. Now, are they at 25? Well, Ball State's an over team with the 46 defense. So I think Vanderbilt, we bet them earlier in the year in the same situation, and they lost to like Georgia State. I don't think they're going to lose to Ball State. I think the wins they just put over Alabama and Kentucky, I can't imagine them now not putting up 50 points here. It's a big number, though. Ball State is an over team. The total's only 58, so it could be the way to go here. North Texas, Memphis. Memphis is 12-66 to North Texas. It was 10. It went up to 12. North Texas, we know, lights it up. A strong over team, 33 defense. Memphis is an A team with a 16 defense that I'm not believing. Theoretically, this should be an over game. Seth Hennigan, Memphis quarterback's good. North Texas, Chandler Morris, outstanding. See, a guy like that should be your top 2 or 3 quarterback drafted. I think I've already mentioned Cam Rising's out for the year, hurt his leg, but he played. He hurt his leg, played, and had 3 interceptions in the game last week. Now we know why, because he was hurt. But he still played because he's as frustrated as we are going, where the fuck is he? He's out for the year now, so we don't have to ask that question. Very good game. Game of the week. Texas, 5-56 to Georgia. How are people betting Texas here? I'm sorry, 5-56. There's no way Georgia's not scoring. But I got Georgia as an over team. When's the last time I had them as an over team? Their defense absolutely sucked to South Carolina, and we know what Alabama did. So we are like, I don't think so. Very interesting game. Texas shuts down Oklahoma. Okay, Michigan, both under teams. Texas gets a real team in Georgia here. Beck lit up Alabama. Will light up Texas a little bit. To me, this is almost a tease the dog game. Georgia, Texas. When have you seen Georgia in the last 5 years as an underdog? Maybe a couple with Alabama. They don't get blown out. Over under 56. Normally, this would be a lock under, but after watching them the last few weeks give up 40 points a game. I digress from them being a lock under. I mean, what was the score last week? Georgia against Old Mississippi State. All right. Not a good team. 41-31. They're playing 72-point games with Old Mississippi State, who has no offense. I think they switched quarterbacks, but they still. So this to me, I think there'll be points in the game. I don't think this is the typical 26-16 Georgia game. I think their defense is bad, but their Beck can throw, as he did against Alabama, Texas, Urs. I don't know that you light up Georgia's defense, but if Old Mississippi State got 31, I don't know that they have that old defense. And here's where you have to make the change. Georgia from powerhouse defense with a little bit of power running and a good quarterback in Stenson Benson to, wait a minute, where did the defense go? And now they're throwing the ball a lot more, and they really don't have the running attack. The better overall team here, I do believe, is Texas. But here comes Georgia, and they're coming off the Oklahoma game. All right. So they put up 37 on Oklahoma. Old Mississippi put up 31 on Georgia. Look for Texas to score, but I don't see you shutting down Georgia. No. Too strong of an offense. I mean, this is going to be a different game. Iowa State 13.5, 49.5 to UCF. Iowa State's playing excellent ball with an 11 defense. Rocco back, good quarterback. UCF's kind of sucked. They lost the Colorado game, then they got killed last week by somebody. Who did they get killed by? I hate just saying somebody. At South Florida, UCF. Cincinnati beat them 19-13. And I like Cincinnati. They're very balanced, good quarterback. So if they only scored, 13 points on Cincinnati, I don't look at them to score much more on Iowa State, who has a much better defense. They got an 11 defense. They're tough at home. I see Iowa State winning the game. UCF is just a running team, and Iowa State, they're not going to score on them. Not too much anyway. So UCF, these explosive offenses, as soon as they start playing good defenses, they disappear. Kansas State, 55.5 to West Virginia. Good game. Kansas State's the A team. West Virginia's the over team. Total of 54.5. Both teams get about 425, I think. Kansas State should be able to move the ball fairly well on them. Iowa, Michigan State. Iowa 640.5. I don't get this total at all. Iowa is not this under team. They got an 18 defense. Stay with the 21. Iowa's a B team because they just don't score that much, but they got that running back. Look for him to score. Michigan State's an under team. I'd be surprised if Michigan State wins this game. I'll tell you that. Total of 41 is I think Iowa puts up in the 20s, and I think State can score. They played Michigan State fairly well, but I don't really love Childs, the quarterback. Kentucky, Florida. Kentucky's actually probably has never been favored at Florida. Is favored 1.5, 42.5. Wow, Florida was a 3-point favorite. I wonder what happened here. Kentucky 1.5, 42.5. Kentucky, the under team with the 15 defense. Florida, their defense looked pretty good against Tennessee's last week. So we will see. Colorado State and the Air Force. Air Force just playing terrible this year. Colorado State 746. That's what it's been. E team Colorado State, Z team Air Force. So don't look at the name on the jerseys. Look at, oh, they're a Z team. And what do we do with Z teams? We pound against them. Colorado State's been playing a little bit better. This is the Air Force is in Colorado, so this is kind of a rivalry game. We'll see. Air Force's problems with this 29 defense, and Colorado State's at 30 defense. So this is the problem with these teams, no defense. SMU Stanford. SMU's played very well. Now 15 and a half. It was 14 and 54. SMU's an A team. Went to Louisville and beat them. Excellent win. Stanford's going downhill. Got killed by Notre Dame last week. 31 defense. And that's really the key to me. They only get 291 yards a game. SMU 372. SMU wins the game, but you're laying 15 and a half. You cut to 9.5. You never know these back doors. Vegas 761.5 to Oregon State. This is an interesting one. Oregon State is an over team. Basically, it's a Pac-10 team, and you're having a Mountain West team 7 points at Oregon State. This is one I got to be careful of. I don't think I can take Vegas -1 here. I do like Vegas, but I don't think I can do it here. Which maybe leaves you the over-under. Is this going to be like the Syracuse game where Syracuse, put up a 44 on them and then couldn't do that against NC State when we all know Vegas has the better team. And last but not least, Utah. Now we know there's no Cam Rising. 4.5, 49. TCU's the over team, the 31 defense. Utah now, I don't know if they're a B team or an under team without Cam Rising. They're not going to score too much. They should score on TCU with the 31 defense. And there's still a good defensive team, Utah, 17 defense. So it makes it a little difficult. All right, so those are your things. I haven't given you a free game yet. I don't want Todd to lose his 20-team teaser. So I'm going to be more careful picking. So that's college. So, again, the game of the week, Georgia at Texas. We've got Alabama and Tennessee. And we don't really have that Big Ten game. Miami and Louisville. Tonight is Wednesday. Sam Houston and Western Kentucky should be a very good game. And Florida International, Utah. This isn't a free pick. I'm just I think Florida International beats the Z team. You can take that to the house. The NFL, the NIFL. Where's the brightness? Anyway, let's go to the pros. All right. The NFL. We got Denver 2.5, 37 to New Orleans. We got Bo Nix against, I assume Spencer Rattler's still the quarterback. We'll have to come back and check that out. Well, let's see if it gives me in the matchup. New Orleans. Olave's out with a concussion. Kamara's injured hand. Carr doubtful with the oblique. So you've got Carr out and you've got Olave, which is why Denver's a 2.5-point favorite. So Bo Nix is playing better. Bo Nix is 0-5, 0 touchdowns, 5 picks. Is now 5-5. So he's starting to get the hang of it. They're still not scoring a lot, but he's getting rid of the turnovers, which is what Rattler's problem is, which is my mistake from last week playing them under instead of just betting against Rattler, because he's not going to win. And it was upsetting. Here I locked the game under with Atlanta, and amazingly enough, I'm seeing like a 70-point game. I'm like, where the fuck's this coming from? You're letting Rattler throw the ball 50 times? What's wrong with this coach? He can't throw it. You got Kamara. What, are you out of your mind? So I'm not sure about that. But Rattler's not. Maybe we just bet against them. New England, Jacksonville. Jacksonville, 5.5, 42.5. Again, Drake May threw the ball. No, he threw like 3 interceptions and fumbles. I don't think all of a sudden they're thinking he's good. No, he's not good. Jacksonville sucks with Trevor Lawrence, but New England, the thing with New England is they're not playing good defense. That's why I played that game under with Drake May and the defense. The defense isn't that good. It was in the beginning, but now it sucks. They're letting up a lot of points. Jacksonville's terrible. Again, a weak favorite, and I believe this is a London game. 9:30. Who the fuck would go to this game? New England with Drake May against Jacksonville. How would anybody but the parents go to this game? Atlanta 3-51 to Seattle. We got Smith against Cousins. Again, Penix is better. Cousins, okay, he's starting to pick it up offensively. They're still an E team. Seattle's an over team. 25 defense. Atlanta with the 23. Smith against Cousins. I don't know how you trust Kirk Cousins, though. Now, here's an interesting one. Cincinnati, 5.5, 41.5 to Cleveland. We've got Joe Burrow against Watson. Watson's is like terrible. Burrow, they're starting to win. Look for Cincinnati to start to win here. We'll go from there. I'm too tired to give out a free games right now. I'll do it tomorrow probably. Buffalo, 9.5, 41. Buffalo made a trade. They got a receiver. I don't remember who it was. Tennessee, terrible team. Levis stinks against Allen. 22 defense, Tennessee. 21 Buffalo. Buffalo's lost 2 in a row, I believe. Let's take a look at that. Buffalo. No, they had lost 2 in a row, beat the Jets. So lost to Baltimore, lost to Houston. And we won. We locked with both of them. We had Buffalo as a dog to Houston locked. And then the Baltimore game, we locked the over. The Jets, we didn't play it because with the new coach. And so this is interesting. So Buffalo's not off of a 2-game losing streak. 9.5, 41 to Tennessee. Buffalo's usually very good at home. Levis against Allen, it's not even close. As much as we're not big Allen fans. Philly and the Giants. Philly -3, 43 to the Giants. Hurts against Jones, 22 defense. Philly's an under team. They're not scoring. Kellen Moore is not doing it offensively. Now, they didn't have the receivers 2 weeks ago. They did last week. The Giants just terrible with Jones. So it's kind of under against under. 43.5. Philly's starting to play. All right. Houston, Green Bay. Green Bay 2.5, 47.5. We'll check injuries tomorrow. This should be a very good game. Green Bay is just a really. I got them as a B team. They're kind of an over team. They got a 20 defense, but they never give up 20. And Houston with the 23 defense. Stroud lights it up against the weak teams. Let's see what he does here. I would think there'd be points in this game. Detroit Mini. I wondered. My line was Detroit 3. I didn't know Hutchinson was out for the year. Minnesota minus 1.5, 50.5. Golf against Darnold. Both teams are 8 teams. Detroit with an 18 defense, which is really like a 30. Minnesota's a 15, which is really like a 15. I was hoping to get Minnie as the dog here. Minnie is 20-2 in a teaser the last 22 games. Yes, I know Darnold's only been there for a few of them for the first 6 here, or 5. I think they're on a bye. I think Detroit goes back to an over team. Without Hutchinson, they're nothing defensively. He put the pressure, got sacks, caused early throws for turnovers. This guy's going to be sitting there having a beer and a hot dog, Darnold, in this game. But I think Detroit can score on them. So should be an interesting. We're at 50.5. Just think your score and then say, well, is that an over or an under? And Hutchinson's being a defense helps the over, right? This will give Minnesota more chance to throw. Indy 43.5. To a shit Miami team. Huntley against Flacco. Although Richardson was a game time decision, so it fucked us up because you couldn't bet on Flacco. We don't want to bet on Richardson. So both teams 23 defense. We're not sure who we got. Miami is the Z team in the NFL. I think there's only one. No, New England's also a Z. With Drake May, there is Z. No, I take that back. Jacksonville's also a Z. So we've got Miami as the Z team. Indy, you'd rather have Flacco. Flacco beats them. Richardson, I'm not sure. Both with 23 defenses, but Miami's just not scoring. 300 yards a game. So that's great. You're paying your wide receiver $30 million, and there's no quarterback, so that's kind of a waste. Had you put your $30 million into the defense, you don't need Tagliabue. You can't count on him. He's always hurt. At Miami, he hurt the hip, and he's got concussions for 2 or 3 years now. The Rams, 6.5, 43.5 to Oakland. This was 5.5. Let's see, is Pukanuka coming back? There are no injuries. Oh, it must be 2 injured. Yeah, we can't do injuries yet. They'll be out tomorrow, I guess. Or no, we have to probably go to Yahoo. Covers is just not keeping up with injuries and stuff. So Oakland against the Rams. Stafford, against O'Connell. Give me a fucking break. 27 defense, Oakland with Max Crosby. LA with 28 without Aaron Donald. And then you've got Devontae Adams going to the Jets, Jets. So you take him out of the equation. You got Brock Bowers, who's been lighting, and I've caught 10 passes last week. That's my boy. LA, a 28 defense, and they can score. So this is an interesting game. It's hard to take the Rams even to win, but this is the mistake I made last week. just bet against O'Connell, bet against May, bet against Rattler instead of going under because they turn the ball over so much. They're never going to win, but they turn the ball over so much it leads to points, and that's where you get fucked. So be careful there. And they've seen Rattler now. He's going to be useless. Drake May, maybe because he's playing Jacksonville with a 30 defense, he'll probably look pretty good. And they'll say, oh, look how good Drake May is. All right, Carolina, Washington. We got Washington playing oh so good. 8-52 against Carolina. Andy Dalton makes Carolina an over. Steve Young makes him a Z. 34 defense, and Washington with the 24 defense. And rolling in the points with Daniels. And they played Baltimore 30-23. They only lost by 7. They put up 23 on that defense. They're going to be lighting up Carolina here. Super Bowl, whatever it is. Frisco, 1.5, 47.5 to Kansas City. We have Patrick Mahomes as the dog, and we love when Patrick Mahomes is the dog. I don't care if they have any receivers. He'll throw to the running backs. He'll throw to the tight end. So they are hurt. They got Pacheco out. They got Rice out. They got a couple of the receivers out. They still got Kelsey. It doesn't matter who they put in receiver. And he's got running backs and tight ends he can throw to. So Mahomes will find the guy open. We're not worried about it. The Niners have not been playing well defensively. What did they do last week? Last week, they 36-24 to Seattle. So they still gave Seattle 24. They're not going to score 36. That was against a weak defensive team. Here you got Kansas City with the 17 defense. Pittsburgh's got a 14. San Diego's got a 13 is the best. Denver with a 16. Detroit 18. Minnie's playing well, 15. And that's it. So we got a 13, a 14, a couple of 15s, and a 16. That's what makes teams good is the defense. That's what you don't look at the offense. I'll take my give me San Diego. They'll kill everybody. They'll shut them down. And with Justin Herbert, it's just enough offense. So again, we get Mahomes as a dog. We can't wait. We'll just check injuries in that. The JETSs now have added Devontae Adams, who's already played with Rodgers. They got a new offensive coordinator. They got a new coach. What the fuck's going on? JETSs 1.5, 38, up from 36. I think anytime you got Rodgers against Fields it's terrible. Again, there was a lot of turnovers with O'Connell, which led to Pitt scoring points, which led to an over in that game. Jets with an 18 defense, Pitt with a 14. Both teams are under. Rodgers gets Adams, he'll be back, but against Pitt, they're not going to score a lot. Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Baltimore 3.5, 49.5. Tampa's been lighting it up. Both teams have 25 defense. Baltimore gets 450 a game. Tampa 385. Lamar against Baker, two good quarterbacks at Tampa. Look for the points again. And our Monday night game is going to be we got two Monday night games. That's one. Baltimore, Tampa's Monday night. Don't know why. And then 9 p.m. Who the fuck's going to watch a Monday night game at 9? What are they thinking? Why have two different games? I don't understand. San Diego, 2.5, 43.5. We got an under team in San Diego with a 13 defense. Michigan, they're trying to play Michigan run. And Arizona, I don't know what they are, an over team, but this is the third week out of 4. They put up 13 or 14 points. Detroit 13, Washington 14, and last week 13 to Green Bay, but we did get the over in the game, mostly because of Green Bay. Arizona, see, here's where you've got to look at the game and going, they're not going to do shit against Arizona, or Arizona's not going to do shit against this defense. That's what they'll do. The good defense will shut you down, the offense. Kyler Murray ain't going to do shit. They're going to pressure him with as long as Bosa and Hicks are in the game, they'll just pressure him and sack him half the time. 13 defense, Arizona with the 27 defense, which is still the same problem they've always had. You cannot have a team with a weak defense do anything. And again, it's come up to haunt them. Green Bay probably just ran clock on them, as did the Lions. They ran the ball a lot, as will San Diego here. So I've figured out 3 locks out of this mess already. And that doesn't include Mahomes. And now the Detroit Mini, now I have a clue to what the line is. Oh, Hutchinson's out, which really makes this a tempting overplay. I'm not sure how tempting it is to take Minnesota, but it's a damn tempting over game because the Lions will score on you. You're not really going to stop. Now, keep in mind with the Lions and Dallas, guess what? Yeah, they didn't have Micah Parsons out there, right? So it makes the Lions look better again. Cincinnati we like, Buffalo, possibly Denver, but it's at New Orleans, and then New England, Jacksonville. How the fuck do you play that game? Drake May, he sucks. He's going to throw 50 times. You're going to trust Drake May, who couldn't do it at North Carolina 50 times. And Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, we see how bad he is. So that is football. Again, the mistakes I made were realizing the new quarterbacks, but it should have simply been bet against them as opposed to betting the unders. So I lost the New Orleans under and I lost the New England under because I just said these quarterbacks suck, but they caused so many turnovers that it led to over games. So be careful with that. So let's go through it. We got Denver, an under team, New Orleans, an over. However, with Rattler, they're not. We've got Z teams in New England and Jacksonville. May has not changed them from being a Z team. Seattle, an over team. Atlanta, an E team. Tennessee, an under. Buffalo, a B. Cincinnati, I think I'm giving them a B because of Burrow. Burrow has been playing well. They're probably an over team because Burrow's lighting it up. Cleveland's terrible. Deshaun Watson. There was a quote that said he gives us the best chance to win. And people are going, well, how can he give you the best chance to win? Because the other guy is Winston. The GM is not giving him a quarterback. I don't know what happened to Thompson Robinson. They're fucked, Cleveland. If Watson's giving them the best chance to win, they have no chance to win. So Cleveland, I don't know if it's the coach or the GM who fucked them this year. Going with Watson, they probably are paying him a lot of money, so they figure like, well, we got to play him because we're paying him $30 million or whatever. Problem is he's worth about 30 cents. Terrible. Houston, an E team. They score in the 20s and give up 23. And Green Bay's a B team, very close to an A team. If Love had played every game, they would definitely be more scoring. Miami is the Z team. Indy, let me mark my Z teams. We'll go through those 1 second. So we've got Miami's a Z team, Indy's an E team. If you got Flacco, they have a much better chance of winning. Detroit's an A team, Minnesota's an A team, but with the injury to Hutchinson, I think Detroit's an over team. I think they won't give up 18 a game; they'll give up 30 a game again. Minnesota is playing very good ball. There's nothing you can't say. Well, Darnold's not good anymore. He wasn't, but he's gotten better, and we will give credit for that. I might say, this guy Lamar sucks. Well, if Lamar starts winning playoff games the way he should, then I'll say I love Lamar. But at this point, I don't love him because every time when you bet on him, the guy's going to let it down. Philadelphia is actually an under team. They figured out Jalen Hurts is blitz them, and the Giants are an under team. Daniel Jones sucks. Oakland's a W, just no points, and the Rams I have also as a W until we get Cooper Kupp and Puka Nuka back. Then they're probably more of an over. It's cute now. They got Tutu Atwell, so they went from Puka and Cooper Kupp to Tutu Atwell. You got a funny name. Come on, you'll be a receiver for the Rams. Let's see, where are we? Carolina, an over team as long as Dalton's the quarterback. They give up 34 a game. Washington is an over team, gives up 24. If they got that down, it was a 30 defense. Now they're down to 24. I'm seeing Washington playing better defense, especially with Daniels. We're still kind of not playing them. We're playing the totals in the game and winning every week with the over. We'll see what we do. This is tempting to just take Washington -2. They're going to beat Carolina. Only won that one game. They beat Oakland, and then that was it. And then the next two they've lost, even with Dalton, but they score a lot. Kansas City and the Niners. KC's a B team. The Niners are a B team. They're just not scoring enough. The JETSs are an under team. Pitt's an under team. Statistically, the Jets with the 18 defense. Okay, you don't have Salah, the defensive whiz. I think they should have kept him on as defensive coordinator. And then you've got Pitt with the great defense anyway, 14 defense. Fields, he ain't going to do anything against the Jets. You got Aaron Rodgers, who's, okay, we got you Devontae Adams. We fired the offensive coordinator. Now what do we do? Now when do we start scoring? I don't like that the Jets are favored here. I like the Jets as the dog in this game, but not. You made them 1.5 point favorites. Okay, I know it's because of Aaron Rodgers against Fields, but Pitt's defense. Pitt is tough to be. Make them a home dog. Baltimore, Tampa, they're both over teams, and San Diego's an under. Arizona an over team, and ain't going to do shit in this game. Now I owe you Z teams in college. All right. Kennesaw State, Middle Tennessee yesterday. I believe yesterday was Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. New Mexico State, the Z team, did beat El Tech. UTEP's the Z team tonight. We've got, let's see. Temple, a Z team's actually favored over Tulsa, W team. Kent State, a Z team, gives up 49 a game. We've got Wyoming, a Z team, gives up 32 a game. We've got Arkansas State and Southern Miss play each other. This whole Conference USA sucks. They're both Z teams, 33 defenses. And Air Force is a Z team against Colorado State. Let's look for teams under 300 yards. Wyoming, 250. Old Mississippi State, 310, but lit up Georgia last week. Probably a quarterback change. Southern Miss, 208 yards. We got MSU, 322. Kentucky, 312. Florida, 300. Over under there is 42 and a half. We got Air Force 249 yards a game, Stanford 291. On the other hand, you got a team like North Texas puts up 490 yards a game. That's why when you can't put up 300, there is a North Texas putting up 490. Again, let's go today. UTEP 257 yards a game. Florida State 172 with Uglia Buglia. Unbelievable. Purdue 278, although they did score a lot on Illinois, which is shocking, but one of those days. UCLA 280, and you wonder what's wrong with them. That's what's wrong with them. You have Northwestern 301 yards a game. Oklahoma 237. Barry Switzer would be rolling over in his grave if he was in his grave. They'd wishbone you for 500 yards a game. Now it's 237. Maybe they need to go back to the wishbone. Temple 317. We got South Florida 320. Charlotte 302 going against the Navy. We got Buffalo 264, although they beat Northern Illinois. Houston 259, I think, is getting a little stronger. Kent 209 yards. This is the typical Z team, a 49 defense, and they get 209 yards of offense. That's what a Z team is. Against Bowling Green, the Bowlers. NC State 300 a game. Grayson McCall has been hurt. We got Wyoming 250. I think I gave this. Mississippi State 310. Southern Miss 208. MSU 320. Yeah, Kentucky and Florida. Okay, so we've given that. So why do we give that? Well, we want to bet against weakness. We want to bet against the Z teams. Probably the biggest would be Bowling Green 21 over Kent with the 49 defense. And we've got Temple, a 2.5-point favorite over Tulsa, who's a W team. Both teams give up 37 a game, but Tulsa at least gets 360 yards. Hard to put a Z team as a favorite against a regular team. Vanderbilt or Middle Tennessee and Kennesaw State, okay. But that's why I like Florida International a lot tonight, because they're the over team playing the Z team, and it's only 6. San Jose State plays Wyoming 11, so you got an over team playing a Z team. Colorado State 7 over the Air Force, who's the Z team. So that's why we do it. The A teams tonight, Sam Houston. We got Oregon, obviously. BYU, the Army, Indiana, Cincinnati, Clemson. Miami of Florida plays Louisville. Both are A teams. Toledo, an A team against Northern Illinois. The Navy, an A team. Notre Dame, an A team. Georgia Tech, just small from being an A team. Alabama, over team. Clearly, their defense, when they were a 7 when they played Georgia's 21 now. In 2 games, they're now at 21 defense. And a lot of that's because they played crap teams at the beginning. I mean, in the SEC, they're giving up 35 points a game. Here comes Tennessee. Oh, oops, but they're not scoring a lot yet. Rice and Tulane. We've got Tulane's an A team. Tennessee was the A team against Alabama. Tulane's an A team to Rice. James Madison, A team to Georgia Southern. A&M's an A team to Old Mississippi State. Arkansas is an A team as a home dog to LSU. Interesting. Memphis an A team to North Texas. Texas an A team to Georgia, an over team. Interesting. Iowa State an A team, UCF a B. Kansas State's an A team, West Virginia's an over team. So who do you like better? Iowa State 13 over UCF or Kansas State 3 over West Virginia. If you broke that down, you go, well, UCF's got a 24 defense, but they put up 470 yards, but it's mostly running, and Iowa State can crush it. Or Kansas State, an A team laying only 3 to an over West Virginia team, but Kansas State with the 21 defense, West Virginia 26. So West Virginia 26, UCF's a 24. K-State's at West Virginia, where UCF's at Iowa State, and loving the heat. You got SMU an A team against Stanford, laying 15 and a half. You got Vegas an A team to Oregon State an over team, and that's it. So those are your A teams. Those are your Z teams. You want to bet on strength. You want to bet against weakness. Last week, I went down with Alabama and Tennessee. I can live with that. I can't live with, losing losing L-Tech yesterday. I can't handle that, but it was a very small bet. That's why you can't look at percentage, because it is the size of the bet that makes that. At the end of the day, are we winners? So if we make 10 bets and we lose 7 and we win 3, but the 3 we won are locks, at the end of the day, if we made $500, do we care about the percentage? No, we don't care about the percentage. What we care about is we made money. And if I'm going to tell you the locks and they're going to win, that's what's more important than the percentage. So just get that out of your head. All right, I'll work on free picks. Goldberg Summit is exactly next Tuesday, the 22nd. Today's 16th, be the 23rd. Our gold, we be at $26.75, up 13 today. This is as of 7:33. So this is brand new. Silver 31.71. There's nothing you can do with silver. It just isn't moving. $26.74. So I just went on vacation. The question is Bitcoin being money and Bitcoin's value. And so we're going to take a look at. Now, I've told you about money. There's 6 things that make money. Hey, Luke. Silver to the moon. Todd, 300 game for the bowlers. Yeah, well, they need a 300 game. Luke, we're a little disappointed with that restaurant you gave us. We ate there. We went to Positano and we ate there. And I said, my friend from Barcelona his friend recommended this. So we go eat there. And it was nothing. I got a steak. I think you had a steak too. And there were these there's a thin steak about this big, a lot of fat on it and a bone. It's like a T-bone, but they don't cut the fat off. And it was, the taste was okay, but there was, by the time you get done with the fat and the bone, there wasn't a lot of steak. So we're a little disappointed in that, in your friend there. Not trusting his judgment. Postotino looked pretty nice. I did show some pictures I can show again. So this is a little video. This is, I don't know if this is Positano or not. This is outside our area. So this is basically it. The whole thing is you got the Mediterranean, and that's it. It's just beautiful. This was from my room, I think. We had a balcony. This is from dinner. The balcony really, the room, I tried doing the football from the room, but it was very difficult because I would lose internet. Uh, we're disappointed with the hotel. Again, we choose it by price, but there, I mean, it wasn't, they closed at 11. God knows you can't find a taxi. If you do, they're so expensive. Um, Half the hotel staff couldn't speak English. This is ridiculous. You work in a hotel, you better know English. Um, and There was just no grocery store around. Jenna needed some pharmacy. We couldn't find. We found one at Positano that wasn't good. You're better off taking a water taxi than a real taxi if you want to go to Positano or the Amalfi Coast. The cab ride from the airport was 90 minutes and 90 minutes back, which was ridiculous. Naples is nice, and as you go through, but then once you start getting onto the coast, there's no highway anymore, and you're going 30 miles an hour on these tiny roads that just are enough for two cars. And if you're walking, you're in big trouble. So it was okay. The food was okay, nothing great. And like I'm not a big. Oh, I got this little. I got tuna once. It was three little balls of tuna that wasn't even cooked. I'm going, what's so good about this? Did you have any drinks? I don't drink. Jenna drank all like a fish. Uh, Steak should be, well, you didn't tell. That would have been a good information like before the trip, not now. Well, Ruth, Capital Grill. Yeah, Ruth. Well, yeah, but we're in Italy, right? Awesome. Sounds like a challenging trip. My back and my feet are killing me. As I was saying, you've got to go. The problem is this. So look at how big these mountains are. This is from the beach. So you have these mountains all around. You got to climb the mountain, right? You come down the mountain, it's hard enough. It's pretty steep, and you're almost running down the mountain, then going back. And then these steps just fucking kill you. So you can see you got to climb that, right? You're climbing those cliffs. This was the world's hardest beach. It's all rocks. And when I tried walking it without my shoes, I couldn't. I literally couldn't do it. It was so painful to try to step down on these rocks. You couldn't do it. I had to go put my tennis shoes on, and then I was able. Then it didn't hurt, so I was able to do it. But this is us every morning. We'd be on the yellow. Well, you couldn't see ours, and then you'd go out about 10 feet in the water, and the waves would go. It was like surfing. The waves would roll up, and you'd be off your feet. I was doing my workout in it. There's a nice moon shot. You can see at night. I don't know what this reflects is. You're getting this. So all you see is the moon, and it gives you this moonlight. This is looks like this must be from. I don't know where this is from. So here's another one with some fish. This is probably from our place. And then here's up north. So this top, that's Almafi. That's all. There's about 15-minute drive. They're not very far from each other, and you're better off taking the water taxi because It's the same price. They make the bus €2, but the bus is so crowded that half the time the bus driver goes past the people because there's no room on the bus because everybody's doing the $2 deal. So here's another look at the boats, and I don't know where this is from. Maybe our room. No, I don't think it's from our room. But you can see the little boats. Oh no, this is from a restaurant. We ate at this restaurant halfway up the hill. So we ate there, and you can just see this is why the Romans were so powerful. Look at this. Look at their defenses. They're on the top of the hill. Nobody can get to them. You can't climb these rocks. And I'm sure they had a good navy. So this is why the Roman Empire was so successful till they fucked up for the dollars. There's Jenna. She wanted to get she got the, what's it called? The rice dish. I don't know. It's a Gordon Ramsay thing. I can't think of the name. Yours truly. I don't know where this must be at our room. Yeah, these are the views you'd go out. So these are the pros of the trip. Was that were the cons of the trip were the stairs. Even in our hotel, it's not an elevator. It was more spread out, and you'd walk down the hill a little bit. But the problem with the stairs is they were steep and small. We're used to U.S. stairs, right? So you walk on the stairs at a certain cadence and a certain stride. I couldn't use my stride there. The steps were too small and too slippery. And so you needed the arm rail to balance because you're fucked up. And then try going up after you went down, and you're in the sea, and then you start walking back up. I had no legs left. We had to stop like 3 times for me going, I can't make this. I'm going to have a heart attack if I keep going. Well, it was a fun trip, but it was, if you were expecting Barcelona, where it's a nice hotel and there's a lobby, and if you want a cab, they can get it for you, and maybe a pool, or you go to the sea, whatever was the sea on the beach in Barcelona. It's a whole different ball game. The taxis, you could taxi, you could Uber. There's no Uber on Positano. You can't. There's no Ubers there. Yeah, good luck finding a taxi there. And if you do, the Mercedes taxis that are expensive. So good luck trying to find those. But otherwise, you just had to get used to it. I don't know. It's like going up north to Traverse City or Lake Michigan. I think it's something you do for a weekend. I don't know. You spend a whole week there, but I don't know, because it's Italy, and I was looking for Corleone. I wanted to visit the Don. We saw a lot of olive trees. Walking around, there's all these olive trees. There's all these lemons. There's just huge lemons there. They were pretty tasty too. A4 effort. Hopefully your girl had a nice time. Yeah, she loved it because she's in the middle of the war. She's starting to get a little bit, I think, stressed. I think she's just smoking and drinking. Now, part of it, she's on a vacation with me, and she can do that. But I think she just is so tired of the bombs and the whole war, and she's got a train. Like tomorrow, she gets on a train from Warsaw to Lviv, the Polish border, and then a 20-hour train home. And she's been doing this for the last 2.5 years whenever we meet, or she meets her friend in Berlin. It's fucking insane. They don't have an airport there. So before she would take 20 minutes to the airport. she'd travel to like Kiev and then go from Kiev to Amsterdam or wherever. And she can't do that now. It's just insane, the poor thing. So I think she's getting tired of the war. And I think she's just hammering the drinks. And I don't drink. So I had a little champagne with her. But basically, I just, and I can't say anything because we're not living in a war. So I can't say that. But I could see it's starting to get to her a little bit. Girl hanging off the back. Yeah. No, I mean, good time. It's always nice to see Jenna, and more or less, I'm doing it to get her out of the war because it's so rough there. But anyway, that's what it is. Bricks, October 22nd. I did watch Alligator did a show yesterday. I was catching. And he's, well, maybe Russia and China will go to a gold back currency. And you're like, according to Mark McGuire, it's October 22nd, and they will. They don't have a choice. Forget the de-dollarization. Everybody's selling dollars to buy gold. Why wouldn't they go to a gold back currency? And it's going to be, this will be the BRICS currency. I don't get why it's so difficult for them to grasp. BRICS will come out with their own gold-backed currency, 40% backed by gold. What's so hard about that? And then it'll compete with the dollar, and it'll blow away the dollar because the dollar can't compete with gold. It's as simple as that. I don't really understand it. When did I get home? I left at, my plane was 6:40 a.m. Italy time, which is 6 hours ahead of us. So that means I left at midnight. So if you take it all to Detroit time, I left midnight, got to Frankfurt, and left Frankfurt at got there at 8 o'clock. Left at I think 11. Again, I got to back it up to U.S. time, so 12. So I leave midnight. I get there at 2 a.m. I leave at about 5 a.m. and I get in at 3 o'clock at 2:30 in Detroit. So basically, I basically got up at 2 in the morning, so that makes it 8 o'clock. So I basically got up Detroit time at 8 p.m. to take the 90-minute taxi ride to then go, and it's now 8 p.m. So I've been up 24 hours. So I got home about 3 o'clock, made sure my gold was there, because all of a sudden I get an email that, we're checking your apartment. It's a mandatory check by the corporate. So I'm in an apartment complex. And I start freaking out. Well, they're going to go through my stuff. They're going to find my gold. That's it. I was like, I'm dead. Because that's my retirement is the gold. And I'm like freaking out. And so I get home today. And the first thing I did is, okay, is the door locked? Yes. Because nobody's going to rob you and then lock your door. So the door was locked. The doors were closed. I have my bathroom in my bedroom. I can't get into it. The handle won't turn for whatever reason. And I can't get into the bathroom. So I called maintenance. Hopefully they'll come out tomorrow to fix it. But I can't open my bathroom. I got 2 bathrooms, but I can't go into it. It's unbelievable. Looks like silver could really move. Well, that's the problem is the 3250. We've gotten to 3250, but it hasn't held, and it's 3173. What is it? What are we waiting for? There's no supply and huge demand from all these countries with solar panels. So why isn't silver moving? Because it's not moving on COMEX, it's moving off of COMEX. So the COMEX money themselves are are still paper, but the physical off of COMEX is moving. I think they're paying like $75 an ounce for these solar panels. So let's talk Bitcoin. People think it's money. Okay. So the definition of money, it's what everybody wants. Does everybody want Bitcoin or CBDCs? No. It's portable. Yeah. It's scarce. No, it's not. It's divisible for small exchanges. It's fungible. So it's replaceable. But here's the kicker that it is not is acceptable. So I'm in Italy. Do you think I could have used Bitcoin to pay for any of my meals, the water taxi, any of the food at the little mini mart, even my hotel? Could I have used Bitcoin? No. That is why it's not money. Now it's a collectible like a Tom Brady card or Montana card. I would say, like anything, if you have demand for something, then it's a commodity, it's a collectible, but that doesn't make it money. My Joe Montana card or my Mantle card are not money. They have a value. Your Rolex has a value, but it doesn't mean it's money. Just because something has value does not make it money. Money would be, yes, I can go to the water taxi in Positano and say, I want to go. How much is it? Oh, it's $75 there and back. Oh, okay. I'm going to pay you in Bitcoin. No, we don't take it. That's the problem with Bitcoin, right? That's why it's not money. I'm not saying it doesn't have a value, and that's what the difference is. This is the lesson today. Value of Bitcoin is what it's valued at. The Montana value is 120 grand. That Montana, the Manos 1968 cards is $80,000 is the value of the card, but that doesn't make it money. Money is what's exchanged, is what people will take. Now, would people take a Mantle card? I don't know if in Italy the water taxi people know what a Mantle card is, but they do take dollars because it is money. But even then, I went to the ATM and I got 250 euros, and it cost me $320. Well, where's this extra $70? So they charge you these maintenance fees, and the FX should be 109, was probably 120. I don't even know, but I don't know. So what am I going to do? There are Bitcoin, MasterCards, Visa cards. Okay, but are they going to accept them? Are they accepted? So let me try to grasp this. So are they Mickey Mantle MasterCards and Visa cards? So if I went, so what are you trying to say? If I went to the water taxi and used my Bitcoin MasterCards, do you think they would take them? I don't think they would, because what are they going to do with the Bitcoin? It's still using the Bitcoin, which they don't use. This is the problem, right? They want money. My taxi cost me 128 one way. How could I have paid them in Bitcoin? Are they even set up to take it? And then if they do, they're going to exchange it into money. So really, I don't think Bitcoin is any different than a Mantle. Like I said, a Mantle card. It has a value, but it isn't money. Bitcoin has been the best investment in the last 10 years. Okay, that doesn't mean anything about money. Hoping it's gold and silver time. Well, Bitcoin's only good if you go back to when it was $5. And then I will challenge you that if you bought gold at $30, it's probably a better investment. So, okay, you bought Bitcoin at $5 because everybody bought it at five. Nobody bought it at 40,000 or 60,000. Everybody bought it when it was $2. And then it's gone up to 60,000. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to just go to the lowest point where it was $2, but when it was $2, nobody wanted it, right? So why don't you buy these other coins at $2? These other Bitcoins, they're not going to 60,000. it's I'll call it an investment because you made money on it. But again, if you bought it 2 years ago at 65,000, was it a good investment? No. So anything's a good investment at $2 that's now worth, 30 or 40,000, but all the other Bitcoins didn't do anything. And the one coin was a Ponzi scam. And that Sam Bankman Fried guy fucked everybody over. It wasn't even real. So I don't know. I'm not going to go there that it was a great investment. How did your brother do on that Ohio State Oregon game? He must have made a few dollars. That was a great game, but I'm sure the tickets, all the Ohio people going to Oregon because they've never been. They've been to the Rose Bowl, but they've never been to Oregon as the number one or two team. So I'm sure he made a better investment on that. That's a better investment. But yeah, I mean, that's not. I'm not going to buy that. Bitcoin's been the best investment for the last 10 years. I think it had a run for outside reason that was market control. I don't think it was a good investment at all, not like gold and silver, which we know because the dollar's going out. Hoping it's gold and silver time. Well, October 22nd, it's gold and silver time. It's gold time for sure. Silver will be following as people figure out its money. So the key that, of course, as the dollar goes away, are banks buying Bitcoin? And the answer is no. Are we buying Bitcoin? The answer is no, because it's not money. I can sell my dollars for gold and silver. I could sell my dollars for Rolexes or Picassos. Same thing. So is Bitcoin a better investment than a Picasso? I don't think so. I don't think he's a better investment than the Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, when COVID hit, was $30,000. It's now 500,000. That's got you beat there. Sorry. The Montana rookie card went from, I think I bought it at 125,000. I think I got you again. So don't make comments like that. That's just stupid. It's the best investment. It was a good investment had you got in, and I don't know if it's an investment if buying a Bitcoin's an investment, but yeah, it went from, if you want to get, I bought it at 35 cents and now it's $60,000. I mean, that's just silly. Did you not sell it at $500? I'm sure a lot of people did because you didn't expect it because it's not real. So, okay, fine. It was a good investment if you got in at the bottom, but people getting in at 60, 70,000, it's not a good investment for. And how much did you, when it went down to 25, 30,000, did you jump in it then? I mean, probably not. And it only would have doubled, went from 30 to 60. That's not the best investment. So be careful with that. That's not, all right. This is when I woke up yesterday, 2 a.m. How do I turn it off? Okay. Back to my Michigan time. You get nervous at 3 a.m. because if you don't wake up, you're not flying home tonight. Well, no, gold's going to be the next one. See, you're looking at silver at $30 going, it's going to 2,000. But gold, what you must understand and take out of this is gold will be the money. Bitcoin will never be the money, but gold will be the money. So when the dollar goes to zero, we'll need a medium of exchange. It will be gold-backed currency, probably the BRICS, which makes gold now have a huge value because it is actually what the money is valued in. So it must be much, much higher because there's not enough dollars to do it. So you're going to, so at 2,600, so you're going to have to make the gold price 10,000 to counter all the dollars you need to have gold-backed currency. But gold will be the currency, and that's the ace of spades. That's the trump card that you're not getting, because that is what makes gold so valuable, and silver. But it's always usually the gold, the gold-backed currency, the gold standard, not the silver standard. And that's what it'll do. But everybody will jump into silver realizing the dollar's worthless and I need money. That's the other part of it. So that's what gold and silver does that Bitcoin can't. Bitcoin can never be the reserve currency, or it's not a currency that's accepted. So had you taken your Bitcoin debit or credit card or whatever the hell it is, does the guy with the water taxi realize it's a Bitcoin credit card versus a regular credit card? Is it a Visa or is it a Bitcoin credit card? And if it's a Bitcoin credit card, if he doesn't take Bitcoin, he's not going to take it. So because it's a credit card, you need to have Bitcoin and dollars in your to pay it off. So what's your limit? 20,000 Bitcoin dollars, but then it moves around. What's the value of it? And this is really the problem with it. People aren't going to accept it. There might be it. There's Bitcoin, but nobody's going to take it. So because it's a credit card that's a Bitcoin, only the people that take Bitcoin are going to take the Bitcoin credit card, not the people at the water taxis and restaurants in Italy are not taking a Bitcoin in lieu of payment of the chicken and the pizza and everything else they sell there. It's not going to happen. That's what you really must understand, that it's not money. Okay, so people are getting out of the dollar. It's the basic story. What happens is you have idiots in charge who don't realize if you print it to death, it goes to zero. It's getting cold in here. Let me close my door. I wanted to get some fresh air. I had that open a little too long. It's cold in here. Silver should have a good few weeks to come. No, silver's going to have a few good years to come. Once we got to break up. Why is COMEX pricing silver in the first place? Just a Ponzi scheme. Once we need the answer that you're looking for is breaking up. Not using COMEX to get a paper gold and paper silver price, but to get a physical price. Once we get to there, risotto, that's what she's getting, risotto. I knew it would come to me. Once you get away from the physical, gold and silver will have a run for 20 years, because though people should realize that you can't have money without backed by gold or silver. It's got to be backed by something. You can't just print and print and print and print and think it's going to hold value. Oh, we'll do it better this time. No, you won't. You can't. It doesn't work. It's like a diet eating chocolate cake. Well, but I'll just eat it once a day and I won't eat the rest of the day and I'm going to work out for 20 hours. No, you can't eat chocolate cake every day and think it's a healthy diet and think that you're going to lose weight. You can't eat too much of it, and you can't have the dollar that is not backed by anything where you just keep printing and printing and printing thinking it's going to keep the value. It just will never work, and that's the problem. And until we get off of COMEX, but gold and silver should run for years. I mean, gold is nowhere near its price. So how do we get the gold and silver price? This is what I was listening to Alligator and I think somebody else, and they were talking about, I think it was even Egon. He says, well, no, somebody, it was on Mark McGuire, and he had the old guy on, and the old guy doesn't know what he's doing. And he's sitting there going, well, I think gold's at its fair price right now. And it's like, you have no idea what the gold price is because it's not free market. You can never know the real value of a price if you're not using the market. The market is, what can I sell this for? So there's two things about the market. One, and that's what I saw in Italy, was the marketplace, right? If you're going to see it, you're seeing it in Italy. In the marketplace, these people have things out there. So very simply, the marketplace is putting something out that people want, that the market will buy it, and then you put it at the right price. And the best example was these buses to go from Positano to Priano to Amalfi. The best you can come up with. They were €2 to ride the bus, and they were packed. And the cabs were $40, and nobody's on them. And the water taxis are $75 there and back, so roughly $40, let's say, one way and 40 back. And you can see where the market was at the $2, right? They wanted the bus, but the problem with the buses, they fill up. And the problem with the buses is they only run certain times, and if they're full, they're not going to stop for you. So it's inconsistent, the buses. But that's what the market is. It's, you're trying to sell something that somebody wants, quite simply. The market in dollars, if we take it to this extent, is, what does anybody want this? Does anybody want this? In the marketplace, do I want that? And I'm seeing in Europe, no, they don't want it. They charge an arm and a leg for it. That's the thing. In the marketplace, they don't want the dollar. And so the marketplace is strictly what people want. You can sell pineapples, lemons, oranges, whatever it is. I got to fix my glasses. Whatever it is, that's what the marketplace is. It's trying to sell something and then trying to figure out the price of it. And in the marketplace, there is no gold and silver store where you've got a real price of it. This is the problem with it. So when people talk about the fair price of gold and what it should be at now, have no idea. It's 26.75 based on COMEX, but that's not the real market price of gold. Or silver at $31. What was it, $31.50? That's not the real. That's not what the real coin's worth. So as I look at it, so silver at 31.75 is a fantasy number. It is not the real free market price like the Canadian Club or the Mantle card. It is not what they're worth. It's what they're worth in derivative land. 26.75 for gold is not what gold's worth in the free market for gold coins. This is what the derivative price is. And this is what these idiots don't understand. And I can't figure out why they don't understand it. So they're going, well, that's a real price. The 26.75, I think, is the fair price of gold. You're an idiot. Anybody that says that doesn't understand what a market is. And that's what I get frustrated with these guys, is they don't understand what the free market is. They have no idea the real value of gold or silver is 20 times higher than it is now. So when you say it's going to run, it's when does it go to a free market? When does the marketplace decide the price of gold and silver? That's what we're really asking. So we are in Italy, and you got the Appian Way, and you got everybody put their. So you got a guy selling gold, and you're going to see the demand for gold is going to be much higher than 26.75, much higher. And that's the point of it. You're going to see a much higher price than this is in the free market, but you don't have that. You have this JP Morgan doing derivatives to price control it. So you don't have a real price. So you can't say it's a fair market price of it is 26.75 or 31.75 for silver. Silver's $1,000 an ounce easy, and gold 10,000 easy. Free market, let the market determine the price. That's what they'd be, at least, probably more. Now, how do we get the government out of it? And that's where BRICS comes in with Putin and Xi going, no, we need a free market on gold. So we will see. That's what we're banking on. We can see all the central banks getting out of the dollars because they realize you can't do a $36 trillion debt. It ain't going to work. You're not going to pay it off. So therefore, they don't want to be in the US T-bills because they know they'll never get paid off. So why would I buy them? Why would you buy something it's never gonna achieve? So but they don't buy Bitcoin, not even buying silver. They're buying gold, buying the big 400-ounce gold bars. That's what they're buying. So that's where the money is. That's where the demand in the marketplace is for the big gold bars. And again, alligator, well, I don't know why they're buying them. What do you mean you don't know why you're buying them? What is wrong with this guy? It sounds like he's on drugs. I don't know why they're buying gold. Because they don't want to be in dollars that are going to zero. How do you miss that concept? They printed and printed and printed, and they're worthless. You're on the Titanic and the boat's sinking. You need to get on a lifeboat. How do you miss that concept? Right? How do you miss that the boat's filling with water because of the iceberg and the boat's going to sink and you need a lifeboat? How do you not understand that concept? Well, how do you miss that this is being printed to death? It's worthless. And so to get off of the boat, we need to go to gold and silver. How can you not understand that basic, simple concept? I did that this morning in Frankfurt. I was talking to this guy. He had a Ferrari bag. And so we're talking about it. He says, man, I teach this stuff. He says, I'm such a bad teacher. He says, so I started explaining Titanic to him. He says, you're a great teacher. And I says, because I'm trying to get it down to a level where the students can understand it. Otherwise, I'm doing a bad teaching. He says, man, but you can teach. And I says, that's my gift, is I am able to extrapolate it down to a very basic level. I says, I never get questions of I don't understand. They might say I like Bitcoin or I might silver, but I never get anybody going, I don't understand what inflation is. I don't understand what the Titanic is. So that made me feel good. This was 9 o'clock in the morning in Frankfurt, but he was a good guy and he liked what I was doing. So I don't know what you're saying. Silver should have a good few weeks to come. No, it'll be a good few years until it gets to that $2,000 value that it should be at. So gold and silver is going to run till we get to the free market value that it belongs at. And since gold is extremely limited, we don't know what the real gold price is. So gold could go to 20,000 before people go, well, it's like you ask me, well, what's enough? Should I buy more silver and gold? Do I have enough? And I say, buy as much as you can. You got to get out of the dollars. This is getting out of dollars. This is not buying gold and silver. It's a double kick. It's getting out of the dollar so you don't lose. It's also buying the gold and silver so you will win there. I mean, so it's a double thing. And that's where we're at with it. But people just don't get, people think that the dollar, there's nothing wrong with it. Meanwhile, all the prices are high, even in Italy, and then in the airport where it's always high. I mean, I bought a chicken Caesar wrap. It was $15. It's insane. Today in Frankfurt, I got something. I don't even remember what I got. I got a salad. It was $10 for a chicken Caesar salad or something. Uh, Agree on the years. Yeah, I mean, you got to realize it's been suppressed since 1972 when they went on Comex. So you are nowhere near. I mean, look what a house did, right? I told you that. So a house. So if I take a 1972 house and it was 25,000, is now 475, 500,000. So look how far a house went. But gold only went from 37 to 20. Well, at the time it was 2000, right? So it didn't go near as much as a house did, right? Because people needed a house to live, but didn't necessarily need gold, or they didn't think they needed gold. But that's really what the key is, right? If we look at a car, $4,000 and now 35,000 for the normal. They didn't have Ferraris back in the 70s like this. But that's what you're looking at. You're looking at why didn't gold go up? So gold at $37, if we put it at the same percentage of the house, so 250,000 to 475, well, gold at 37 would be, probably in the neighborhood of 40, 50,000. If you use the dollar of the straight, here's what the market said on that. But once people realize gold's the lifeboat, the point is the frenzy of the end of the Titanic, people realizing, shit, we need to get on the lifeboat. That hasn't happened yet to gold and silver. People don't realize the dollar's going out. When that happens, that's the other thing we're banking on is the frenzy. Oh my God, I don't have any money. Oh my God, I need money. That's the frenzy that is not factored into this, that I'm factoring in. I understand that's what's going to happen. People will get scared and emotions. And that's what's really going to drive gold and silver. Once people realize the dollar's out and the yen's out and the Swiss franc's out, and they look for the replacement, and the only replacement is gold and silver, what do you think happens to the price? So that's why then that's what Basel 3 has done, is basically broken. Basel 3's broken up COMEX. Now the next phase is getting COMEX, which is what BRICS is, to a fair free market price. And then silver will meander in also because it's real money, right? And the reason it's good is because you can't print it. You can't print gold and silver. It is what it is. And if you can't print it, then that's what you got. So that's really the point of it. It can't be printed, so it's not limited. And that I hear is the big thing with Bitcoin. Well, there's only 21 million. There ain't 21 million ounces of gold. It's 250,000, tons. But considering the demand and the use, I could have probably paid at the restaurant last night gold. I would imagine the guy would have taken it. He'd have probably said, "Yeah, we can make an exception." I gave Jenna an ounce of gold. She flew, it's $2,800. Now I got her attention with gold. Yeah, 2,800. Before she didn't think it was doing anything. Now she realizes 2,800. So anyway, Bitcoin is a baseball card. It's a mantle. It's a Rolex. Rolex is not money, but it's a good investment, and it's guys, it's an asset. That's what Bitcoin is to a point. I don't really believe in it because it really is digital and it really isn't anything. But I'll give you credit that it has a value, but it isn't money. So A to B. things with value like Rolexes are not money. They're assets that have a value. Picasso, Van Gogh, Mantle, they're assets that have a value, which is fine. Bitcoin has a value until the dollar goes out, and I'll caution to say, well, Bitcoin's value goes to zero when the dollar goes out, but not the Mantle and the Rolex and the Picassos will be valued in gold. So if I have an ounce of gold, do I want to buy one? Well, you want to buy a house, you're going to buy a house with 2 ounces of gold, right? So that makes how you're going to revalue the house. It's going to be 2 ounces of gold. And what's the gold going to be worth? 2 ounces will buy you this nice house. That's the value of gold. So the value of gold goes through the roof. Does the value of Bitcoin go through the roof? No. Now, is it perceived, I think, is that Bitcoin's a lifeboat. I think people see they don't like the dollar, but the problem is the government kind of controls it. So the government says, no, Bitcoin's not money. The fact it has a value doesn't make it money. It makes it being an asset. But because it's digital is where I question it. I can hold the Mantle card in my hand or the Tom Brady rookie or the Montana rookie. I can't hold the Bitcoin in my hand, and that's where I question it. Now, can you hold your Microsoft stock in your hand? No, but at least you can see what I would say. Bitcoin is exactly like Microsoft. It's bidded. It's got a value. The difference is there's no earnings on it. There's nobody running it. So Bitcoin's Bitcoin. And can you take your Microsoft to the grocery store? No, but it has a value. So that's how you look at it. It because it has a value does not make it money. It just makes it worth something because if somebody's willing to pay for it. Now I'm always cloudy in Bitcoin. Who's buying it? That's making it have a value. That is somebody coming in and buying it, pushing the price up? Is somebody selling, pushing the price down? And what happens when people realize it's not money and they're holding it, but it really doesn't have money? It's really digital. And then the dump starts happening. Then what do you got? You don't have an asset. It's got when the value goes down to zero, what is it? However, when my Mantle card goes to zero, it'll be priced in gold because the people will still have a value for the Mantle card. They'll go, yeah, I'd like that card. So therefore, there's a demand and a market for it. What is the demand and market for Bitcoin? Well, it's going to be worth $1 million. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe you there. Okay. Looks like silver could break out next week. Well, we've been waiting for it. It's close. I think when Bricks announces it on the 22nd, we could get some silver action. Did you bring any gold, silver over there? Yeah, I brought an ounce and a quarter. I gave to Jenna. I gave her an ounce and a quarter, and I gave her an ounce of silver and a 5-ounce silver bar. She liked that. She said, "What?" I go, "Can I hold it?" I go, "Yeah." And it's a 5-ounce bar. She really liked it. But yeah, all I did. Now, anybody wanting to take this is what I heard. Oh, you can't take gold and get it through customs and da 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 da. But I can do it with my Bitcoin, right? Because I can just ask for the Bitcoin. So wait a minute, you're in Italy and you ask for Bitcoin, which is priced in dollars, and then you go and cash it. How is that different than taking a Mantle card and going to Italy and getting it? Now, here is how you travel with gold and silver. Let's say these are 3 ounces of gold. All right. I put them in my wallet like this. I put them inside the wallet like that. All right. So you can see them. Close the wallet up. So they're in the wallet. The wallet's closed. I put it on the plastic thing. Boom. It's in the tray. Nothing. Nobody said a word. Nobody knew. Nobody cared. They're looking for weapons. They're looking for knives and guns. They're not looking for that. So just shove your gold into here, into your wallet, put it on the tray with your belt, your shoes, and, your car keys. Nothing. No customs, nothing. Because they only ask you in Europe if you need customs. There's nobody there. So you just walk through and you go get your bag and you go to your cab. Nobody says a word about customs. So these people trying to scare you saying, well, gold's going to have to go through customs. You have to pay tax. Bullshit. If my gold's worth 10,000 an ounce and I got 3 ounces in my wallet, I don't declare crap. I don't pay a nickel in tax. I just go. Now, I give it to Jenna or you give it to your girlfriend or your wife. Now, how do we sell it there is another story. I didn't try to sell it. She doesn't try to sell it. So how do we sell it? Well, that's going to be are they going to tax you when you go to sell it? Now, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Here they won't. We heard Andy Scheckman say that. So that's really what you're looking at. But the fact of getting it on a plane to Europe, Switzerland, Germany, not a problem at all. Very easy. Now, I'm not taking 50 ounces. Nobody's this stupid. But I am going to take 2 or 3 ounces. But if it's worth 10 grand a piece, that's 30 grand. I'm fine. Now, will it change when gold gets really high? I don't think so. Again, the whole point of security at the airport is security, not dollars. Then it becomes, yeah, I took 10 ounces at 10,000 a piece. I got 100 grand. But they don't really ask you. The only place I heard was at customs today when I got back to Detroit. And they asked some foreigner from Germany, how much money are you bringing into the country? However, I didn't get that question. The only question I got was, are you bringing any food in? And I said, no, that was it. But I never got a money question or anything like that. And if anything, they're more or less, I think when I was in Naples this morning going to Germany, I had my boarding pass on my phone on the email, and I don't even think she got it right. She said, just go. She didn't even care, just go. So the security is getting more lax, not more harder. So if you want to take gold to Europe and cash it in, the question is going to be the cashing. So what you're going to do is, which is the best country to cash my gold in? If you're looking to not do it here. I go to the store 5 miles away, I'm going to cash it in and I'm not going to have any problems. So yeah, it's ready to break out. You gave her an ounce of gold. Yes, I gave her an ounce of gold. Until you run into a con man, TIA agent overseas that takes it. Well, no, you don't declare it. It goes from my wallet to my pocket. I don't say a word. I get off the plane. I carry on my luggage. I go to passport control, and I'm on vacation here. He stamps my passport. I get on the taxi, and that's it. And as soon as I'm out of the airport, I'm fine. So no, that question never comes up. If you're asking in America TSA agents, that question never comes up. How much money are you taking? They don't care how much you're taking out. They only care how much you're bringing in. I've never been asked the money question going out and coming in either, sometimes coming in, but very rarely am I asked. I'm more asked going to play at Caesars in Windsor. I would be asked how much money you're bringing. That I would get asked, but you just say $500. Okay, fine. They don't really let me see your wallet. I've never had that happen to me. But that's where it happens more is if going to Windsor to play poker, you get flagged, not these flights. There's too many people. They just like even at the end today when I get off the plane, I had to go through passport control in Michigan. It was done very quickly. Now they only had 4 agents, and you got 500 people coming off the plane. It's like, yeah, maybe you could have had 10 or 12 agents for the half hour. And so what happens is they just see the line, and it's like going, it's like Wendy's, right? Let's just get the orders out. So I'm seeing them. They're just stamping the passports. Very few were asking questions, and that was only for the real Far East, Middle East people and stuff like that. They wanted to be certain. But me, I went in. How long were you there? Da, da, da. Okay, here you go. Goodbye. I was maybe 1 minute at passport control. They didn't care. They could see I was an American. I could speak it. Where were I? I was in Naples. Okay, fine. Have a nice day. They're already around the world in many countries. What's that, Luke? Conman TIA agent overseas, but you don't see TIA agents in Italy. I didn't see a TIA agent. They're not looking for gold right now, and I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about where you've seen it, but they don't know you have gold and they're not worried about it. You're not advertising it. I thought about that when I went on vacation. I was a little worried, would my gold still be here? And then I thought about it and I realized nobody knows I have it. You guys do. You don't know where I live, but nobody here knows I have it. So nobody here cares, is looking for it, right? That's the whole point. Now, I think next time as it keeps growing, I got to get like a U-Haul security box or something and put it in there because it's too stressful. I think what people get out of a bank is when they go on vacation and they got 100 grand in the bank account, they're not worried about losing the money in the bank account, although they don't realize it's going to zero. But with me, with my gold, it's not insured. So I'm like, well, hell, if somebody steals it, I'm in trouble. So that's I think the difference. And anyway, that's probably the big key to it is that. But I don't see any. You're not declaring it. You don't declare anything. The other thing they declare is food. You bringing any food in? But again, you're not going to customs. When I landed in Naples at 6 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning last week, I went to passport control and I had my luggage. I walked out and the driver was waiting for me, and that was it. There was no passport. There was no customs. I mean, I know I've been to Ukraine and Russia. There is no customs. They don't give a fuck. Do you have anything to declare? And you just go no, and you walk away, and nobody stops you. So I don't get a lot of these questions. It's like I've done it, and I've never seen anybody. So I don't even know if I went there, I'd have to wait for somebody. There's nobody waiting. Even today, nobody was waiting. Used to make you fill out the card. Are you bringing any food in? Are you bringing so much money? And da 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 da. No more cards. It's liberal government. It's yet less and less useful. Anyway, so we'll see with BRICS, and that's what's going on. But gold, just figure silver 2,000 an ounce and gold 20,000 an ounce, and silver probably 1/10 of gold, and that's what you would figure. But we're not close. We don't know what the real price of gold or silver is. We know what the paper price is, and we know the real price is at least 10 times higher because they keep doing the derivatives. They keep knocking the price down, but the free market is not knocking the price down. So when I have this Canadian club, and I put it on the grocery shelves at $100 because it's 12-year-old, that's what the market says. That's what it's worth. But if I have JP Morgan doing derivatives of this, keeping it at $5, is the real price $5? No, the real price is 100. The paper price is 5 because they're fucking around with it. That's what you have with the gold. The real gold price is 10 times at least higher than what this is saying, which puts it at $22,000. It's at least that because they keep knocking it for 50 years since the 70s. And so they've curved the demand and kept you in the dollar, but it's been printed to death. You got a $36 trillion debt. Nobody can deny that. So what good Bitcoin priced in dollars going to do? It's still $36 trillion in debt. The dollar's still going out. Now they're probably going to try to get chaos, and they'll probably start coming out with well, you can get 10% if you buy a CBDC. That's how they're going to try to entrap you. As, oh, I'll buy a CBDC and give away your money. But this control thing I'm hearing is such bullshit. They know where I went. They know I went to Italy. They know where I ate in Italy. They know how I got around in Italy with the cards, with the taxis. They know I went to dinner tonight here. They know all that. They don't care. It's bullshit. It's to scare you, and government has one function: to scare you into believing you need it, because we don't. I don't know the answer. Like my thing about football and baseball should be performance contracts, not guaranteed. Here's 20 million, Deshaun Watson. You can be the worst quarterback that's ever been in the league, and you make your $30 million or whatever you're making. That, I believe, is what happens, right? That is the dollars that's what the contract should be. And so for the market for gold should be what the market dictates. Not There's no derivatives on Coca-Cola or ice cream or Oreo cookies. There's no derivatives on those. The market says this is what they're worth. That's why you can't use prices for inflation, because a lot of the stuff can't get priced higher and sold. You can't make Oreos $25 a bag. Then nobody will buy them, even though that might be the inflated price. So this whole idea of inflation is 2%, you got to be out of your mind. I read today that a bank is saying how they're worth something. There's a couple banks had record earnings or whatever. It's all inflated. It's all bullshit. How could you have all these earnings? Where's that coming from? What is it? Your real estate sales or your auto sales or your the other properties? The Empire State Building. Is that where you're making your money? Because that's the only place a bank makes their money. So I don't know how these banks are successful, except for it's all bullshit where they're printing money and getting the printed money and then saying, oh, look how much money we made. No, it's bullshit. So they're all trying to make the economy look good so Kamala Harris can get elected, going, look at our economy. It's great. And it's all bullshit. And everybody who is not in our class falls for it because they don't understand it. It's the printing of the money that makes it worth zero. That's the inflation. That's what we all got fucked with. It caused a $36 trillion debt. Nobody wants the dollars, all buying gold. So you can figure it out any way you'd like. We're fucked. And believe me, once the panic of the Titanic's actually sinking, because you heard that, well, it's not sinkable. It's unsinkable. It's the Titanic. Once you figured out that it's sinking, the panic that sets in, as you saw at the end of that, is what we're going to get in a gold run like you've never seen in your life, because we've never been off of the gold except for these last few years. We've been on the dollar since 1972. How it survived this long is just pure bullshit. a lot of it was probably the petrodollar. But now that the petrodollar is gone and you can pay with oil with anything, and they're going to want gold soon, there's too much demand for gold that the price is going to stay low. And the same thing with silver. There's too much demand. It's got to match the market. What does the market want? What's the market demand? And off you go. And that's exactly what's the market will take over for gold and silver because it has to. And then once the panic sets in, you're going to see prices that you're just going to go, fuck, Howard said 2,000 an ounce. He didn't say 5,000 an ounce. He said gold would be 20,000. He didn't say 50,000. Well, I kind of did, but that's where we're headed. And it's because the market is based on supply demand, which means the less supply, but the higher demand makes higher prices. So if more people want the 50 count Mahomes card I always show, if there's 100 people that want it, it's worth more because if there's only 10 people that want it, it'd be worth less, right? So because it's limited, creates a high demand, and because it's a high demand gets a higher price unless you price fix it with derivatives. But it doesn't work in card collecting or Picasso's or any of that. There is no derivatives. The derivatives only work in the paper, gold and silver, and coffee and orange juice, and now Bitcoin gets to be derivative. So enjoy that ride. But the difference is gold and silver are real. Bitcoin isn't. So again, don't get confused with a value, and that means it's money. Well, they're doing the value of Bitcoin is $5 trillion. That doesn't make it money. It makes it worth like the value of a Picasso could be $10 million. I've shown you $500,000 Rolex watches. That doesn't make them money. It just makes that there's enough demand to force the price up. That's what it means, right? The demand for the Van Gogh, that's $200,000 is now $500,000 is because people want it. The market says, I want it, and I'll pay more for it. And that's what's going to happen in gold and silver, and not what's going to happen with the dollar. The market's very clear they don't want the dollar. All the BRICS countries are gold-backed currency, needing gold, wanting gold. And don't play Mark McGuire. Well, I don't know why they want it. What kind of fucking economist are you? You don't understand inflation? You don't understand the dollar going to zero? This part you don't understand, and you want me to listen to you on the TV anymore? You're out of your fucking minds. There's no way. All right, everybody. That's good. So 8:43. I'll work on my football tomorrow when I wake up. I'm damn tired, and I got to go to the grocery store. Wish I'll do it tomorrow. I was going to go today, but it was rush hour, and I said, I don't feel like it. And I got something. I got a burger, and I said, oh, you know what? I'll go to the grocery store tomorrow. And that'll be it. Otherwise, yeah, all my veggies got stale because they've been sitting in there. And that's about it. So, yes, the trip was fine. A little bit too long at the Amalfi Coast if you're expecting going to Caesar's Palace. See, so if you go to Berlin or you go to Barcelona or Lisbon or maybe Amsterdam, Amsterdam's a little different too. You're expecting the nice hotel with the swimming pool, and they get you a cab and they're open and elevators and everything. Then this is not the Amalfi Coast is not that. The Amalfi Coast is a lot of walking up and down the stairs to get to the boats, to get to the beach. More so in Positano, in Primerdo, where I was. When we got to Amalfi, it wasn't as much. And in Positano, there was still the city was up steps and down steps. I was sweating my ass off the other day, and Jenna goes, "Why are you sweating? All the other guys aren't." And I go, "Because I keep running up and down the steps, and it's I sweat. She was getting on my nerves this trip. She kept going, "Well, why are you sweating? And why you keep saying the names wrong?" Because Positano in American, it's Tano, is Positano, Tan. But she's reading it Positano, not Tano, but Tano. I says, but it doesn't read Tano, it reads Tano. And that's how I pronounce it, because that's how we pronounce it in America. So she kept like arguing a lot like that. Howard, it's Positano, not Positino. And you're like, I said to her, do I really give a fuck? I don't think I give a fuck. I'm more worried about the whole economic problem of the world and this stupid Russia-Ukraine war than I am about how the fuck to say a city. See, because I went stoic, I don't care about that stuff anymore. If I call it New York or potato or potato or tomato or tomato, I don't give a fuck. Give me the fucking potato. And she doesn't understand that. You said it wrong, and I go, I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. It's stupid. It doesn't matter what I call it. You know what I'm talking about. That's all I care about. All right, everybody. I am exhausted. I will sleep very tight. I can't get into my bathroom. I love to take a shower, and I want to get to my mouthwash, and I can't open my bathroom door, and I don't want to break it down. I'm ready to. It's kind of got stuck somehow. It was cold here, which makes no sense. So it's kind of the door. I can't really turn the handle to open it. I can every other door, but in the bathroom, I can't. It's like sticking, which I don't know why. So I'll try it a little bit more, but I would really love to take a hot shower, and I would really love to take my mouthwash and all that stuff. I can brush my teeth in the other one, but my mouthwash is in that one, and my shower. So a little bit, but I'll get to sleep, and hopefully maintenance will come in the morning and fix it up. Anyway, good luck on the football. Have a good day. That was the trip. Again, any trip's a good trip. It depends who you go with, and it depends what do you want. And you should be aware of where you're going. In other words, if you go to Barcelona, you're going to be at a normal hotel. I mean, Europe's starting to get expensive because the dollar is becoming worthless. So it's more expensive to get the nice hotel with the pool and everything else is becoming a little bit more expensive. Just an FYI. So you got to know that. All right. I am out of here. www.teaserking.com. I don't know about these TIA agents taking it. Here's a good. More stockholders will want gold, silver, minor stocks as the price goes high. Nobody's going to want stocks. They're going to want physical. Because the stock market's going to collapse. Why would they want stocks? No, they're going to want the coins. All right. I will talk to you. Have a nice night. www.teaserking.com. There'll be I think by Friday night, I'm going to have to do one like 6 to 7 and one 8:30 to 9:30. But there will be a college football class, $25. We go through the games and the picks, and then but I have an interview, I guess 7:30 to 8:30 on Friday, which I'm shocked who would do it at that time. But I did say anytime Friday, but I thought it would be 9 to 5. So I'll have to adjust the class accordingly. But there will be classes for the games this weekend. Otherwise, you can just buy the picks. www.teaserking.com. All right, everybody, take care.